My family skipped my biggest moment, but when Forbes valued me at $50 million, they suddenly invited me to a family celebration to heal old wounds. What they didn't know changed everything. My name is Amanda, and for most of my adult life, I was the invisible one in my family. The one who paid her own way, built her own future, and learned very early that love in my family came with conditions. When I started my first business out of a tiny rented office, no one came to visit. When I worked 18-hour days, slept in my car, and cried in parking lots from exhaustion, no one called. My parents said I was too ambitious. My aunt said I was forgetting my place, and eventually, the calls stopped completely. We became strangers with the same last name. Before I continue this story, please drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to know how far this story has traveled. Years passed, and I stopped expecting anything from them. I built my company quietly, expanded into hospitality, and opened a chain of restaurants focused on wellness, sustainability, and community. I didn't post about it online. I didn't brag. I didn't invite anyone. Then one morning, my phone exploded with messages I hadn't seen in years. Cousins, uncles, even my mother. That same week, Forbes released a feature valuing my company and restaurant group at $50 million. Suddenly, I was remembered. The invitation came dressed as love. A family celebration, my mother said, her voice overly sweet. My father sounded formal, almost nervous. My aunt insisted it was time to heal old wounds. I already knew the truth. My family never reached out unless they needed something. Still, curiosity won. I wanted to see how far they would go this time. The dinner was held at an upscale restaurant they couldn't afford on a normal day. They hugged me like we hadn't spent years in silence. Compliments poured in, forced smiles, exaggerated pride. Halfway through dessert, my father cleared his throat, and the room shifted. My mother's eyes filled with rehearsed tears. My aunt leaned forward like a prosecutor ready to strike. They told me their business chain was struggling, supply issues, market changes, bad luck. They said it wasn't their fault. They said family helps family. Then the number dropped. $3 million, just a bridge loan, just temporary, just until things improved. When I hesitated, the guilt-tripping began. They reminded me of childhood sacrifices that never happened, nights they carried me, opportunities they claimed they gave me. I listened quietly, letting them talk themselves into believing their own lies. Then I told them the truth. I told them their business wasn't struggling, it was dead. Insolvent, drowning in debt, weeks away from being seized by the bank. Their faces froze. My aunt laughed nervously and said I didn't understand business. That was when I slid the folder across the table. Inside were legal documents, signatures, transfers. I explained calmly that I had quietly acquired their outstanding banknote months earlier. Every debt, every liability, every obligation now belonged to me, which meant their entire business belonged to me too. The silence was violent. My mother gasped. My father went pale. My aunt stood up shouting that I was cruel, heartless, ungrateful. I let her scream. When she ran out of words, I spoke again. I told them they had 60 days to vacate the properties. I planned to convert the locations into a Luminous Days wellness retreat, a place for healing, rest, and growth. I offered them a $500,000 buyout, generous, clean, final. More than they deserved. More than they ever gave me. Chaos erupted. My father accused me of betrayal. My mother begged, switching between tears and threats. My aunt cursed me and promised I would regret it. I paid the bill, stood up, and walked out feeling lighter than I ever had. That night, I slept peacefully for the first time in years. What they didn't know was that the real consequences were only beginning. The acquisition triggered audits they couldn't hide from. Years of tax evasion surfaced. Shady contracts came to light. Former employees started speaking up. Vendors sued. Partners vanished. Their reputations collapsed faster than their business ever did. Friends distanced themselves. Invitations stopped. The same silence they once gave me swallowed them whole. My father tried to negotiate behind my back, only to realize every door led back to me. My mother showed up unannounced at my office once. Security escorted her out. My aunt went online, spinning stories about betrayal, but people asked questions she couldn't answer. The truth has a way of surviving noise. Eventually, they took the buyout, bitter, defeated, exposed. I converted the properties exactly as planned. The wellness retreat thrived. Employees were rehired, this time treated fairly. Communities benefited. Every success felt like reclaiming a piece of myself they had tried to shrink. I didn't ruin them. I simply stopped saving people who never wanted me to win. Now, when my name appears in business articles, it stands alone. No family attached, no guilt required. I rewrote my story with my own hands, and for the first time, I wasn't the forgotten daughter. I was the author of my own ending. Please like, share and subscribe for more stories. Thank you.